What is up, everybody? Yes, I know I was a minute or two late. I was talking with Kevin Powell here on Discord about the launch. So yeah, here I am though. We're going to get started here momentarily. I'm going to move this off the screen real quick and respond to Kevin. And yeah, I have to go back here. Negative space, design submissions. There we go. See, I don't want to click on our chat and reveal our our conversation. Wouldn't you guys just love to know that? All right. So we're going to get started here very shortly with just a regular UI UX review. So let me know in the chat if you guys actually joined. Some of you joined the DesignCourse pre-launch, which is still happening. You have a few days left. We're going to extend it by one day to the 21st, and then we'll shut down memberships until the official launch in a few months. So if I'm gonna do that right now. Well, I'm gonna do that in a second once we get a little bit more people filtered in here. Yes. Concurrent viewers, man. For me, it's showing in my back end only 45, but sometimes there's a discrepancy there. Let me go to my YouTube channel. Alrighty, yeah, that's pretty abysmal. I don't understand. I used to get like 300, but it takes a little time, so we'll see where we end up. All right, so I'm sure those of you, a good portion of you already know about the pre-launch, but I'm going to do my thing and spam you a little bit. If you go to DesignCourse.com, you can join today and take the course as it stands. We're doing a pre-launch, and oh, look, there I am. And yeah, you can join up for a 10% off. It's normally going to be $99 to access the course. You can add mentor right here, which means I will literally take a look at all of your design challenge submissions, because there's a bunch of design challenges in the curriculum, and I will review them, and in most cases I will actually refactor them in the areas where you are lacking in terms of UI UX. Now the good thing is, because I formulated the course pretty solid so far, the design submissions I have performed, people all have done pretty well. The first challenge is like a simple, very simple layout where I say you have to use this font, you have to use this type, you have to use these colors. Now put something together with just a headline and subheadline. That's it. So we start you off very easily, and we're not going to throw you into the deep end and say, hey, design a full user interface. Not at all. Most of the challenges are going to be leading up to a big user interface near the end of the course. So definitely check that out. I will be spamming you all in about 30 minutes halfway through this live stream. And yeah, definitely take advantage of this offer. Many of you are wondering if we're going to be offering PPP, which is the Purchasing Power Parity or whatever it's called. Yes, we will for the official launch. If you want to join now, you pay the price as it is. If you let me know where you're from, I'll do a partial refund, but you have to pay through PayPal in order for that to work. All right, so anyhow, let's get started with our regular reviews. If you're new to this, we just do a normal UI UX review. You click on the Discord link and read the instructions in the description here on YouTube, and then you head on over to this page over here, this channel rather, the negative space submissions, and you can submit your design, and I will review it real quickly live in front of everybody, and hopefully you don't cry if people laugh in the chat or make fun of you. Okay, so all right, let's get us started. Is the design course going from beginner to advanced, or how does it work? Yes, absolute beginner, and then we're going to work you all the way up. I'm never going to make the claim that a single course is going to make you an advanced designer. Just like a coding course is never going to make you an advanced programmer or something. You're going to walk away going from a beginner or near beginner, wherever you're at, to having a lot more confidence and being really solid. But I'm not going to say you're going to be like the best UI designer ever. That would just be a false claim. So and impossible to achieve, because this stuff, it takes time to really develop the eye for it. But I give you all the tools as much as possible to help expedite that process. All right, so we're going to review the first one. All right. Actually, I had to remove the very first submission because he tried to rickroll me. So I said, it's not going to happen. It would not work. None of you are going to be able to achieve it. And now I just probably dug myself in a grave, but whatever. All right, so here's the first one. Hi, I'm Tihor. Okay, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. I'm a front-end web dev. I like the font. What is that? Is it Poppins? No, it's Nexa. Oh my God. What is Nexa? Nexa font. It's a free font. 16 unique font styles. Wow, I like that. You know what? I'm gonna get Notepad and just Nexa font. That might be the new Poppins for me, or the new Montserrat. I don't know. All right, I really like that one. Don't act, react. I would like to see this a tad bit larger, but it's still pretty good. Good typographic visual hierarchy here. View projects, nice call to action, and then these secondary social links. The CV seems a little bit out of place here. I would probably use, you know, just your typical Nexa font right here and get that centered up as much as possible. Nonetheless, this area is pretty solid. Let me reset this to 100%. This feels kind of out of place. You know what would really make this a lot better? Because this is a great illustration. I like it. Make it large. Make it real large, and even the side of it can be cut off on the side of the browser, but it will completely, if you just kind of cut it off at the side of the browser and like triple the size of what it currently is, it's going to fill up this whole area right here. And then that way it will negate having all this white space up here and sort of this imbalance issue that is currently here. So that's pretty solid. I would put more white space between these little page indicators. Definitely more white space because they're pretty close together. Trying to click each one of these and they're small is a bit of an issue. I'd like to see a better just layout right here rather than just having your centered title and then just a bunch of text and then download right here. Try to get an actual layout that will consume most of the layout here. I would be much more of a fan if you take these titles and just left align them right here. I think it will flow better. All right, let's check your email form. All right, good contrast. Maybe more white space on the inside. You are using your labels. It might actually make sense to make these bold, especially when you have your type in here. It kind of gets lost, so you create that visual hierarchy by making the labels bold. The send button is good, and yeah, it's a pretty decent layout. I'm gonna give you, we'll do a rating. You guys want to bring that back? Let me know in the chat if you want to do a rating where I ask you to rate this person from a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best and 1 being the worst. Let me know. Oh, I see Kevin's here. Let me remove. Let me check out your message here. Oh, okay. Well, I will have to wait until after the stream to respond to Kevin. All right. Let me go back here. All right. So a lot of people, yeah. Okay, we'll do the rating. I see you all are saying mostly like 7 and 8. For me, I'm gonna give it like a 6.8. I think that's pretty fair, in my opinion. All right. Let's continue on with the next one. Get this back over here. All right. We've got a lot of submissions here. I guarantee you we're not getting through all of these. Robin L., let's check this one out. All right, learn, develop, experience. All right, so right off the bat, what do you think the biggest issue with this design is in terms of how it stands? And I mean, for me, I know exactly what it is. I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna wait for you to respond because it's just gonna make the stream slower and then I won't be able to get through as many. But the biggest issue is your call to action. Look how hidden it is. This blue, this dark blue, kind of, oh, thank you a lot. Thank you a lot, Mr. Kevin. Now, is that 20 or is that 200? I can't see because of the overlay right here. I'm just kidding. I know that's 20. Thank you very much. So right here, book now, that needs to be increased the contrast so much because this is a dark area and this is a dark area. Now, of course, depending on probably when we drag the viewport in, it might have more contrast like in this, but because this is such a higher contrast, not a higher contrast, but just an image that has a lot happening in it, you really want to ensure that your call to action stands out right now because this is just, it's an afterthought. So make sure you fix that. Also, you also want to make sure that you utilize your CSS grid or your Flexbox. Grid is much easier for this, or well, I can't say much easier, but it's easier just to take something like this, your section right here, and vertically align it based on the container that you have established here. So this is kind of up high, and then you have all this space left. So if you have minimal content, you want to make sure that you're filling up this area and you're making it symmetrical in terms of your white space that occurs. Coming down here, I'd probably get rid of the soft shadows here. It's pretty unnecessary in my opinion. A little bit more white space in this area, and I would probably make those white. Coming down, I would definitely get rid of the extended tracking or the letter spacing right here. It makes things kind of hard to read, so just stick to the default. There are use cases for having extended tracking, but this is one of them when it comes to paragraphs of type. All right, so what do you think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst and 10 being the very best you've ever seen in your entire life. Awesome, thanks a lot, Kevin. Oh, many of us creators here that deal with a lot of coders and stuff in design, we know each other. There's a big Discord server that I've mentioned before in the past. It's ultra super secret. You have to be a creator on YouTube in order to be there. But yeah, everybody's there. You know, Brad's there, Brad Traversy. There's I can't even name all the names, but like almost everybody who's somebody on YouTube is in this Discord community. It's really cool. So for me, I'm going to give this rating probably I like this little splash effect down here. I would probably say a rating of 6.1 or 6 or maybe 5.9, somewhere in that area. All right, thank you for the submission. Let's continue on. Parth 10 has a Figma prototype, and we've got issues, buddy. Let's work through them though. Like anybody who has an issue, it's always good to work through them. And in some cases, you need the therapist. In this case, you're going to get me to help you with your design issues. Okay, so I like the fact that you're really utilizing a lot of color, a vibrant photograph. It's certainly not boring, but the issue is it's a little bit just too busy. And some of the color choices aren't working well. So for instance, this Thor Ragnarok thing, notice that the color of it, like this teal color, it's sitting on a background that has that sort of teal color itself already. So you want to maximize the visibility of your headline. You do that by increasing, the contrast as much as possible. So I would make this white, make the type white. Secondly, I would not put a red drop shadow behind it. It just wouldn't work well. If you're going to use a drop shadow, just make it consistent with how a shadow naturally behaves. Make it black or make it, an opacity of some sort. It doesn't have to be full on black. Next up, small things like this button here. Notice how you have a lot of white space here and then over here. But not much over here and over here. So I'm a big fan of trying to keep things, with few exceptions, there are exceptions, but in this context of trying to keep equal white space all around. So I would take this and, hold your Alt key and then just drag in the side so both of them have an equal amount of white space. So starting here and here, it's just too wide. Also the type, notice how close things are together. Like this type right here, it's very close to that sub-headline right there. I would change that and really try to increase the white space as much as possible. In fact, this is so much type here that I would really say, if you have the ability to, on this type of project, I'm sure this is just a fictional thing. You're just, trying to practice design for, but get rid of this whole section and only have this if this is how much type you're going to have. So definitely consider that. I think that's a good amount of, oh yeah, and then your buy tickets, that's obviously probably the primary goal. So that's your primary call to action, or this watch button. Either way, this needs to be a solid white. That would work much better. You could use black as well, but it depends on what way you want to go. This is just too much hidden. So hopefully that was able to help you. If you guys want to give this one a rating, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, let me know in the chat. Yes, I'm sure some of you might be wondering, maybe like 2 of you, if I'm ever going to do the John Frock thing, and I definitely am. This is pre-launch week, so I've been really busy. I also just got back from vacation a few days ago. I'm going to give you a possible forecast or foreshadowing. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but Fireship of the Fireship YouTube channel, what's his name? I'm horrible. He hit me up and he has a possible interest in integrating me in one of his videos, or John Frock rather. So that should be very interesting. All right, for this rating, I'm going to give this one, you know, probably like a 5.8 or so, right around there. It has potential. So yeah, let's continue on. All right. Thank you, person, whoever that is. Hell Snake. Oh, Toxic. Oh, okay, we got multiple people doing that. Awesome. Okay, so the tech hacks. The tech hacks, I guess that's how I refer to your name, has been just trying to break DesignCourse.com and find a bunch of errors, which is actually helpful for us. I don't think he's trying to intentionally break it because he's letting us know what he finds, but yeah, thank you very much for that. All right, so tech hacks. All right, looking at this, all right, get rid of the extended letter, the extended tracking rather, which is the letter spacing. Also, this is extended leading, L-E-A-D-I-N-G. That is your line height. If you're gonna break this up into 2 lines of text like this, I wouldn't situate it so that there's only 1 word of your headline on the second line. I would probably put, welcome to our web development website. I would probably put a web development website on the second line, and then probably make it bolder and fix that tracking and the leading. Now here's the thing though, that headline ad copy could be improved a lot. Welcome to our web development website. That's uninspired. You got to use something a lot more, not flashy, but something just more unique. And the knowledge of what type of ad copy to use comes with, it's a skill. That's why you have copywriters out there who get paid a lot of money to establish all the type on your website. It's something I should do, certainly, on DesignCourse.com, because I'm not a copywriter. But anyhow, let's continue on here. Take our trial of a web development course for blah, blah, blah. Take trial course. Yeah, so there's obviously not much happening here, but I think the primary area that needs to be addressed is in this area right here, like I mentioned. Tech hacks, the size of this logo as compared to the size over here, I think this needs to be squished a little bit, or not squished, but scaled down, because it seems quite big in relation to this over here. All right, let's go ahead and do a rating for this for as it stands, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. By the way, so like the processor we're using on DesignCourse.com, they hit me up and they're like, we're keeping all your money. Yeah, so like all the money I've made so far, they're holding it because they want to verify like my bank statement for the increased risk. And so I have to submit all this documentation to get my money out. Not cool, but I think it's a standard thing. Oh God, I didn't just do that, did I? No. All right, nothing bad was shown here. I opened up my email client. I was like, I hope to God this goes on my other monitor. Yeah, that was my fault. Okay, I'm gonna give this a rating of, you know, probably just around a 6 or so. Again, it's not a full complete, it's just a mock-up. It's only one tiny page with not much content. So a 6 there. Let's get rid of that. All right, next up, start your day with our coffee. An experience to remember. Is this the same person? No, that's toxic. Okay. All right, I actually like the type. You know, it's a very sophisticated, luxurious font that's being used here. I do kind of want to see it maybe just pushed down a tad bit because I could tell it's off-centered, vertically speaking. There's not much happening here, but for what it is, I can't really say anything is objectively incorrect about it. It's extremely simple. Depending on if I had more information about it, we could make the background a little bit more interesting, perhaps with some sort of texture or something like that. Not necessarily like a full photo watermark or anything like that. But this should... All right, what's going on with the wows? Stop the wows. All right. But yeah, but for what this is pretty solid. But you know what? Honestly, there's not enough here for even us to even bother with a rating. It has a lot of potential though. So keep it up, Mr. Toxic. All right. Well, it doesn't have any scroll animation because it's just a JPEG or a PNG that was submitted. So yeah, let me close this out. Close that. Okay. All right, next up, let's see. All right, so I'm not a fan of what's happening up here in this navigation. It's pretty close to your branding or your logo, and it's also just seems out of place in terms of hierarchy. I'd like to see this bold. Probably take all these 6 different links, center them between this element and this element right here. All right, so center those up because it's just a little bit too close for my liking. About me, and we have like an interesting play here, which is, you could do this sort of thing with this whole console, fake console thing, but the problem is it's kind of like there's a lot of it's hard to read like your primary headline that you have going. I'm a computer science student based in London, but all this stuff right here is unnecessary. I know you're trying to make it look real, but you need to kind of also adhere to these ideas of like having a strong, solid headline that people can easily and quickly read so they can ascertain what your site is about. So that's going to be the main issue here. People are going to come here and, you know, within a few seconds, they need to know what the site is and what you do and everything. And just them having to physically look at this specifically is kind of problematic. Next up, that looks like there's no scrolling here. There's not enough content. If you're going to have multiple paragraphs or sentences like this on a new line here, space those out. So put some margin top right here. Who's that? Let's move this over so I can read their name. What is happening? Oh, there we go. Christian Hoza, thank you very much for that super chat. Awesome, awesome stuff. All right, going back to that, let's go back to this. So yeah, that's going to be the main thing. What do you think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the absolute best you've ever seen in your entire existence. So you can keep this concept, but I just think I would get rid of the projects and stuff here, or at least push this command line, you know, output right there down further. Maybe even make this bolder. You'd still have the concept, but then you're still nailing what you need to nail in terms of your headline, the sub-headline, and all that. I'm going to give this a rating of... I like the colors, I like the contrast, all that's really good. I'm going to give this a rating of 6.8. Yeah, right around there. Cozy Wozy, yeah, we're on the same wavelength there. But, you know, just with some minor adjustments, you could definitely improve that. All right, let's continue on. So I did already check that one. Okay, yeah, all right. All right, next up. All right, so I love this headline. I create beautiful websites that make the internet look great. So that's the type of headline that is unique, and it's the one that I advocate for, rather than just saying, hi, I'm Philip, I'm a web developer, I'm a front-end developer, I'm a back-end developer, whatever. Your headline needs to be something kind of unique and memorable, and one that emphasizes benefits over features. So this is pretty solid what you have going here. Up here, up there. Okay, not too bad. I really like the I like this look right here. Sometimes I think I did a video recently on borders and high contrast borders. And most of the time you want to avoid high contrast borders, but in this type of aesthetic, they're real thick, they contrast well. I think it works. So you can use high contrast borders in this context. They just can't be all over the place. So if you notice, he doesn't have borders all over the place. Just in this one area, it works just fine. Yeah, so I like this design. I'm not sure if I would use red as the background here. Like, I immediately started to get like just flashbacks, not flashbacks, but I immediately like associated it with China. Not to say that that's a horrible thing, although their government's pretty horrible. Communism. I'm not a fan of communism. So black and red, like for me, those are two colors that are just like, I don't know. They trigger me. So yeah, I would probably change that. Plus, also red is kind of just almost universally recognized as being a color that's associated with danger. Now, not always. Like Target has a brand that's red, but so I would just be wary of that in this context. What else? I know I'm offending some people when I say I don't like communism. So, oh man. Bro, maybe this isn't a finished tutorial. This isn't a finished portfolio, but I wouldn't put the project I created from my Scrimba course as your work, unless that you explicitly state as such. Because this drone racing gone wild thing, that's a part of my Scrimba design course that I put out recently. So I wouldn't include that in your portfolio unless you put a stipulation that, you know, this is just a tutorial project that I followed. And then if you have no other work, fine, do that, but put that disclaimer. But ultimately, get more projects so they can be 100% your own. Now, in this context, like I said, the borders up here are good, but the borders in this context I don't think work well. They're just kind of strange looking behind that, the little border element. So I would change that. I would work on alignment here. I probably left align these right where language starts. Same with this over here and here. hacker12@gmail.com. I probably wouldn't put that as placeholder text. But either way, pretty solid. It's kind of a weird design because like this part up here, I really like it, but then there's some other areas that I think could be improved. So it's kind of inconsistent in terms of quality, in my opinion, but you're definitely on the right track. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you all think this person should get for a rating? I'm going to say, like this right here could easily be like 7.88 or so. This down here in this section of the design is kind of like more like 6.9, 6.8. So with that said, I'm just going to give this a 7.2. Yeah, I think that's fair. All right, next up, that was Philip. Let's do this. We got a real estate website / landing page. Oh, do I have music playing? You want me to turn that off? There, I just turned it off. I forgot about that stuff. All right, I'm not sure what it was, some loop I bought. So anyhow, okay, let's take a look at this. This right here, I'm not sure if there's a connection issue and this is like, I just have a blurry picture. It looks like that's not the case. Of course, you're gonna wanna use a more higher quality photograph if you're working this like this. So I would also, if I like the actual, the building and the design, how it can kind of fit, I would push it down just a little bit so it's not interfering with your section, your navigation section right here. Things seem kind of big, like the size of this type in relation to the artboard size here suggests that you want to make this smaller. So right now it's at 29 pixels. I would put this down, yeah, I would change this down to like maybe 21 or so to have like a smaller nav because it's consuming quite a bit of the UI as it stands. So let's see over here. This is strange. I like the design overall, but how it's set up with like the labels being at the bottom, I would say that's probably an anti-pattern. I would put these labels to the top just so that it make a little bit more sense. Overall, there's not a lot here to judge, but I think with some small changes, it could be quite solid. I'm not gonna bother with a rating, there's just not much here. It is quite solid, it has potential. Okay, well, I'll put the music back on. There we go. All right. Oh, guess what? It is time for me to spam you. Yes, it is. No, don't go there. My admin section. Oh, we have a custom admin section. I'm glad like nothing showed up that I don't want you to see or something. But yeah, so this is DesignCourse.com pre-launch. I started collecting emails for this in last year, so it's been like 12 months ago. But so yeah, like it's gonna be fully finished here in a few months, but you can join up now and take the course as it stands. You can add mentor to get my feedback. And you know what? I'm gonna actually show you one of the design submissions and how the mentor feedback program actually works. I think that'll be interesting for some of you to see. So I'm gonna go to my Figma.com on my other monitor and just pick out this one. So there's going to be about 15 design challenges, and each one of them has a video of me describing the challenge. And so for the very first challenge, it's simply to create a layout. So here's the headline, here's the sub-headline you have to use. You have to use all these requirements. So I have all these constraints for your very first challenge so that I'm kind of, these are your training wheels. I'm telling that you have to use the same font, use the same font color, use both these background element colors right here. All this stuff I go over, and then you have to submit a Figma prototype within the backend or in the members area. Then at that point, I review them. So I want to show you one of the design submissions that I just recently reviewed. This person created 7 different layout variations using all of these requirements. So what I do is I look at them. So this is one of their layout variations, and then I adjust things. So I was like, okay, well, you know, your alignment isn't great here. Look at the baseline of this. These aren't aligned properly. There's not enough white space around here, and there's too much tracking. So I leave comments. If I click on this, you'll see all these comments associated with trying to just basically make this person a more improved designer of some sort. And so there's going to be a lot of challenges like this, really getting into full user interfaces near the end, in component-based challenges. So definitely take advantage of the offer. We're going to be closing down the pre-launch membership signups and on the at the very beginning of 21st or the 22nd. So just a few more days. So check that out very soon and consider joining up because we have about 200 members already. Very exciting stuff going on in the world of DesignCourse. So let's continue. No more spam there. All right. So what is that? Affordable helicopter rides now at your doorstep. Book now. Problem. Then this is a problem in one of the previous submissions. Increase the contrast. Make this white with book now being black. That would be so much better. I like the type. I like the darker area of this. I like the photograph because it works very well because you have a high contrast, a dark area here. I would definitely, I'm not sure if you created the logo or somebody else did. If you had the ability to change the logo, I would, because it says since 1975, I think. You barely see that. It's just, it needs simplified greatly. And then the extended tracking or the letter spacing, I would get rid of that on your nav items. But yeah, for what this is, there's not enough here for me to really bother too much with a rating, so let's continue on. Just looking at these quickly, I can just see from here, they're not too bad. Let's move on. Oh, he said ignore the ugly logo. All right, well, I did not ignore it. I addressed it. I'm sorry. What's the price for the helicopter ride? Probably too much. All right. Problem here, everything's squashed up. I don't understand why. This almost feels like a banner ad rather than just a website interface. We have sign up, login, we have a headline. Yeah, this definitely needs work. You want to utilize the space that you have available. Research responsive design. You want to make sure your design just fits and works well with all sizes of devices, full desktops to mobile apps. This looks a lot better in the context of a mobile app, but when we get out here, I'm lost in the void of space here. I'm not sure if I can get back home or whatever. So work on that for sure. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, we were just at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for our vacation for a week, and there's helicopters all over the place, but man, I am not spending like $100, $120 per person. Like, no way. Okay, I've actually never been in a helicopter before though. Now, if I didn't have my kids with me, it's just me and my wife, which would be awesome, we might do it. Okay, here's the problem with this one. The problem with this is your headline is just a little bit too busy, in my opinion. I think, you know, some of these more trendy designs kind of have these big fonts, big typographic influences, like for the headline, and that's fine and all. I think what I would do if I were you is probably take this purple, use it here as well, just to reduce the amount of, I guess you could say, clutter. Because there's a lot happening here. So if you use the same color, this purple, instead of this blue, it would simplify it a little bit more. You can kind of get away with this a little bit better. So yeah, I mean, I see this thing sort of thing all the time when it comes to these labels of sections of websites where they're centered, but everything else is like left aligned. Push this to the left, in my opinion, that would be much better. You also have the space available here to put 2x2. I'm not sure why you have everything in just one column. You have nothing happening here, a lot of white space. So take this one, put it right here, and then you have columns, and you're better utilizing your space. Otherwise, if you don't want to do that, I guess you could put a longer description that kind of comes around here. So this is all templated, obviously. Have some scale issues, white space issues. You want to push this up away from this area so much. I'm not sure if I would use full-on blue, like a vibrant blue like this. So yeah, just some things to consider there in that regard. Again, not enough happening here for me to think to worry about a rating either. So let's continue on. Made a few improvements since the last review. I'm not sure what that review was. I can hardly remember what I did yesterday, so bear with me. All right, Roland, make this larger. Definitely make this larger, this whole section area. And honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Of course, everybody knows I'm honest, maybe too honest sometimes. I thought this was a clothing brand. I didn't know you're a front-end web developer. It seems kind of out of place to me because you're looking like a freaking fitness model over here. Like, yeah, you're decked out. You got multiple layers on. If the front-end developer career doesn't work, you have a potential future, I would say, in like modeling clothes for Macy's or JCPenney's or something like that. So what I would do is, like I said, increase this more so. Front-end web developer, you're going to want to make that the bigger topic. Your name, Yeah, it seems like a clothing brand. I mean, it's very, very fashionable. It's like Roger Federer type of font here. I would not emphasize your name as much. You could do something like your name if you become some type of iconic front-end developer that everybody knows about, who's like built Google or something. But in this context, I would probably make the fact that you're front-end developer the emphasis so that people know what they're dealing with here. My works, I would probably get rid of that extended letter spacing. In case if you've been watching, I've been telling everybody, get rid of that extended tracking. I'm not a fan of it most of the time, so I would bring those together. View my work seems a little bit small, this button here. But I overall, I do kind of like this section right here for sure. I told you before to get rid of the 17-year-old front-end web developer. I probably told you to get rid of that just because people make the false judgment, so to speak. It's a logical fallacy that just because you're young means you suck. That's not the case. But I also wouldn't put it out there because people do make that idea. So I would probably change that. Do you look 17? Yeah, you do look 17. But I wouldn't state it explicitly. All right, I would make this white, by the way. Well, wait, I thought this was like a like a text field for some reason, but it's not, so I'm not sure what that is there for. But yeah, pretty solid otherwise. Rating, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do y'all think this person should get? Ooh, I almost dropped my freaking water. By the way, I was at the gym earlier today, and I hurt my neck. So I'm like looking over here. I have neck pain. It's like it's radiating down my upper back. It sucks. I'd never properly warm up. You know, I'm doing like shoulder presses at dumbbells and something like snapped back. I'm getting old. I'm like unreal. 38. I'm an old man compared to most of you, especially this person. All right, I'm going to give this a rating. Yeah, this definitely deserves at least a 7, perhaps more. Definitely has a great potential, especially being 17 years old. All right. Let's continue on. Let's wait and see. Make sure I'm not getting trolled. I'm going to leave this on the other monitor. The website, or the host is taking a while to show up. Did my water just break? Oh, I'm not even going to make my comment I was about to make. I'll get canceled. Hello, Heptisier. All right, well, unfortunately, that person's website is not loading. I think if you use one of those cheaper web hosts, it sounds like one. I'm not sure if that is the case. At webpages.com, they might have issues like that, like downtime. Oh my God, what is happening here? You're only getting one of these pages, these layouts reviewed. No, these don't only have to be portfolios. It can be almost anything design related. Logo design, I'll check out logo designs because once upon a time, I designed many a logo. And in fact, my most popular YouTube video just crossed 2 million views, which is in a logo design, identity design course. It's like 3.5 hours long. Yeah, 2 million views that sucker has. Can't believe it. All right, so this one, whenever it comes to type and you're singling out letters or a bunch of words and making them different from each other, either in font weight or color, it just kind of adds a lot of clutter to the design. When I look at this design, because of the green and the red, you know, I'm from America, I immediately associate it with Christmas. So I would simplify this by not making these color changes. It would work much better in my opinion. The login button here. So you have what you've established a certain type of visual hierarchy that suggests that the login is an extremely important element. I would probably scale that down because it's not quite as important probably as some of the other areas that you want to emphasize. Register your family, that's the one you want the most. It is big and it's a pretty good call to action, but this login doesn't seem like it justifies having, you know, your primary call to action as the button background. Looking at this further, the text is too small and crammed inside this area. So I would take a look at that and reconsider. Not enough white space below this text. So you have good white space here, but it's tiny amount of white space here. So you want to increase that, or just move these pictures down more to create a consistent all around top right, bottom left white space. This part is better. All right, what do y'all think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst and 10 being the best for this section of the design. That's sad. 172 views. I mean, I don't want to complain about that, but I used to get 300 easily. What the hell is YouTube doing to me these days? I'm so glad I launched DesignCourse so I could start making money outside of the dwindling YouTube ad revenue. In fact, I haven't even looked at my YouTube ad revenue in a month because it just gives me anxiety. I'm like, what is happening here? I'm gonna give this a rating of probably just like a 6.6 or so. Yeah, I think that's fair. Continuing on. Wait, where did my Discord go? Ah, there we go. We got a WordPress hosting service. All right, the problem here is there's an issue of, well, yeah, it seems like, okay, this is too large. It's demanding way too much attention. So I would probably scale that down a bit. I would increase the white space between these nav items, and I would also, you know, being that we're on the home page, make this white or underlined because you do want to have a quick visual indicator of what the current page is. Outside of that, this right here, this type can be increased the font size a bit because it's pretty small. I like the headline here, but I just think the you know this is kind of like the benefit, which is good. You've used your headline to emphasize a benefit, not a feature. The subheadline usually is where you get into the features of your service or your business, and this is kind of like an afterthought, too much of an afterthought. I would increase this by a little bit larger than what it is. Explore button, push that down a little bit more, and maybe consider using one of the colors here to make it stand out more, because you're using the same hue, but it's just tinted, or light is added to it. But you can use probably this color up here, maybe a brighter version of it, to make this really stand out more, to make it pop, as every horrible client says. That, in all fairness, sometimes when they say they want something to pop, they might actually be right. But yeah, it's something nobody likes hearing as a designer. All right, anyhow, too much white space here. I would say probably use this amount right there, but good white space at the bottom all around. Card is pretty decent as well. I would probably not use blue for this type right here. I would probably use like, if not a black, I would make it, well, let me see here real quickly. Let's just do color. All right, so that's black. I think that's an improvement, but we could also do something like this, where we grab this, which is what it was, but then we come down here, maybe add tone, which is grays to it, and that further increases the contrast between these two elements. All right, flexible pricing. You could do a border here, but I don't like gray. It just doesn't fit. Grays mixed in with hues and colors, especially mid-grays, they never really look that good. So I would change that to something like, I'm not sure where the border property is. Let's see if I can change it though. I might not be able to, depending on how the markup is created. Okay, well, it looks like there's some type of other issue occurring here, but I would use this hue, but just make it darker, or this hue and make it even darker, or lighter. This is kind of a little bit messy here. This looks like it was an image right here. Yeah, this is an image, so it kind of looks blurry. I would try to avoid that. Make this part actual text outside of the image. All right, so what do you think this person gets for a rating? 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. By the way, check this cool interface that we have, that JVS, my partner and developer, created for the DesignCourse system. So it tells us like how many members there are and how many submissions are waiting review, how many modules have been completed by all the members. Very cool stuff. I'm going to give this one a rating of, again, kind of in the 6s somewhere, like mid 6, 6.5 or so. Oh, I missed somebody. Where's Dr. Phantom? Oh, is that why they put X's there? Sorry about that. Still a work in progress and only worked on the hero section for now. Currently looking for ideas to list Discord commands, blah, blah, blah. Alrighty. Ow, my neck hurts. This sucks. I'm going to be screwed up for the next week or two. I took 800 milligrams of ibuprofen, and that doesn't seem to really help. I'll just have to drink alcohol later or something, or one of those THC gummies. All right. This is lacking visual hierarchy here, so we want to increase the size and make this the focus because I'm really not sure where I should look. This is a logo that's quite demanding. It's pretty large. Scale those down, make this larger, and then balance will be restored into the universe of this design. I think that would be a definite improvement. So those are my quick comments. We won't deal with a rating. There's not enough. What is happening here? What is UI? Oh, wait, what? I thought this was UI UX porn network. All right, so I don't even want to mess around with putting that stuff on my live stream. I don't, you know, I just don't want to deal with that. I know nothing explicit was shown, but you know, in these days with YouTube, I just don't even want to take the chance of even talking about something like that. Oh, is Unix, like Unix? Okay, well, you know what? Maybe that is okay. Yeah, it's a tech website. That's fine. Unix porn. The problem here is there's not much of a structured layout. I would really go back to the drawing board and think about how you can utilize layout and icons and imagery. Your alignment's all off here. This is slightly over here, but not over there. I would definitely change that and try to separate this layout a little bit more in this area, like with more white space. Things are all crammed together. Not going to bother with a rating for that one. Not really worth it. Here's, okay, this is the one the person told me that they didn't design it, but this is designed by a few other people. So looking at this, that logo, I have to say, you definitely, all right, so this doesn't make sense because we have the logo up here and then we have it here. So you want to remove that redundancy right there. I would also say, so I can see it says like heading. I mean, these areas, depending on the pictures that's used, it's a little bit difficult to read. So I might want to increase the white space here on this padding, or at least push this over because there's a decent amount here, but not on the left. But also increase the font size of this area as well, and maybe char limit the amount of text if this is supposed to be like the headline or something. This area, what I would advise is taking these numbers, putting them on top, and increasing the white space between each other. I think that would work a lot better. Yeah, like this is kind of hard to read. I would definitely refactor this enter design area or enter email area. The high contrast border here, and then the email section, like where'd it go? Notice how it's slightly off-centered vertically, like this is up too high. I would adjust that as well. And to enter email is designed, this section is designed exactly, almost exactly the same as the subscribe section. So you want that to be fixed right here. This isn't rickrolling me because it didn't play. So I'm not even gonna play it. Nobody gets to say they did it. All right, what do you think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. My throat is getting quite dry right here now. No, I think in order for the Rick roll to be considered a Rick roll, you've gotta, it has to play. This is not a Rick roll. Nope. You should have made it autoplay. Yeah, so for me, I'm gonna give this a rating, you know, there's some areas that are pretty decent, like I like this section, but then there are some areas that, like in here, I think could be improved. So I'm just gonna give this like a 6.3. All right. I know I'm gonna make a lot of people mad because they want me to get to their submission. I understand completely. If you wanna ensure that I get to your submission in time, you have to idle in the DesignCourse Discord server, because what do? About an hour or two before I do these, I announce these in the news section, and I have a string ping role. So you can opt into the string ping role up here somewhere, and then you'll be notified. I say it's time again for another live UI UX review at 9:30 a.m. EST, and submit your designs now. And so a bunch of people start submitting their designs real quickly, so that, you know, they have the best chance possible of being reviewed. So submit below, and then people start submitting. I can only do this for so long. I'm busy. My neck hurts. My throat hurts from talking. So hopefully you understand that. And then finally, one last time, I'm going to mention the DesignCourse pre-launch, which is happening now. It's ending at the 11:59 or so nighttime around September 21st. And you'll be able to join right now. Oh, why am I doing that? DesignCourse.com. All right, that was 3JS. I had fun making that. So you can join now, take the course as is, and get 10% off. So there's a one-time fee of $89 to access the course, and you get access to that, you know, just for that one-time fee. You get access to, as long as this course exists, all future updates. And then if you want me to review your work, add Design Mentor. It's $80 charged every 3 months, and you can cancel at any time. So we will be offering PPP, which is the Power Purchasing Parity, or what, I'm not sure what that acronym is, during the official launch in a few months. So yeah, definitely check that out. And I'm going to see you all very soon with a new video, perhaps on Monday. All right, I will see you all soon. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.